So as we finish up federalism, we'll just stick with this chart for one moment more. National government powers, again, those are called delegated or enumerated powers. Those are powers specifically given to the federal government by the Constitution, such as coining money, making treaties, making war. You can read. I would suggest you get, again, very familiar with this chart. States should not be able to make war or treaties. Illinois should not have the power to go to war with Canada by itself. That would be the antithesis of what a unified country is all about. Powers that the national government does not have. They cannot impose religious tests. They cannot pass laws in conflict with the Bill of Rights, which again is the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. Now, do they pass laws that conflict with the Bill of Rights? Yeah. Again, it's the system as it's set up and the system we've got, and they don't necessarily conflate all the time. So both the state government that has reserved powers and the national government, which has delegated powers, can tax. They can borrow money. They can charter banks and corporations, take property, make and enforce laws, and administer judiciary. Now, I believe I made it so you can view your pretests. I hope I did. If not, please let me know. Now, many of you listed for two of these questions, what is the power of the federal government? What is the power of the state government? These two were the most popular answers, and they're usually the most popular answers. What we were looking for there were enumerated and delegated powers. Both can do this. Both can also make laws. That's another very popular answer. So, while it's a power of the state government or a power of the national government, these things are not exclusive to either of them. So, when you get asked again, what's a power exclusive to a state government? Taxing is not the correct answer. Borrowing money, anything you see under here. So there are different ways of interpreting the Constitution. We have strict constructionists who interpret the Constitution as it's written. They try to stay as close to the text as possible. The late Justice Scalia is an example of a strict constructionist. The former president tried to put fairly strict constructionists on the bench, Neil Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, that would interpret the Constitution as it was written. So Thomas Jefferson was really the first, big strict constructionist. He was the founder of the Anti-Federalist Party. He really believed Congress was limited to expressed and few implied powers. Everything listed here. Everything Congress is supposed to be able to do is listed here. Now, they've taken that power, and it's not what's listed in the Constitution anymore. There are more things that they can do. The strict constructionist would want to limit the power of the government and give rights back to the states. A liberal constructionist, on the other hand, would interpret congressional powers broadly. There are implied powers that is granted by the Elastic Clause. So the Elastic Clause, again, grants Congress the power, and I quote here, to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department or officer thereof. So it's kind of carte blanche here for Congress to do and pass legislation that it feels it needs to help run the government and execute its duties. And this was strengthened by a ruling called in a case called McCulloch versus Maryland, and I'm sorry we're not going to have time to get into this semester in the way that it deserves. It's a seminal case. There are more than a few of those, and I happened to choose Marbury versus Madison. So they debate here over the constitutionality of a national bank. Hamilton wanted one. The Anti-Federalists were not so keen on it. We have a strong national government. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you about McCulloch versus Maryland. The outcome, it was that the Supreme Court decided that the law that was wanting to create a bank in Maryland was constitutional. So there was, as a result, there was a strong national government. But don't worry about McCulloch versus Maryland for the purposes of a test in this class. So this is one of your assignments. It'll be on Flipgrid based on this series of videos and this other one that I want you to watch. I want you to answer these questions. And certainly if you use outside sources, please state them in your video. Meaning outside sources, meaning it didn't come from this video or the slideshow, my videos. So there you go. And this, just in an effort to help you even more, this series of videos came from a school that I used to work at. They put these out as kind of a study guide for students, and I would definitely encourage you to watch these. I mean, it's just, federalism is just one of those key concepts that you need to understand, or it's just going to keep rearing its ugly head and costing you points. So anyway, I hope that was tolerable. I know some of these subjects, some of the subject matter in a political science class can be sort of dry at times, but I hope that was tolerable anyway. And if you have any questions about anything, please reach out. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.